this little mixed race woman that just came and went to the top? That's what they want to know. How did that happen? How did that happen, please? Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. To all of my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Guys, this week has been mad. Okay, let's just get into this video. Listen to this heated debate between Dicky Arbiter, former press secretary to Queen Elizabeth and media manager for Charles and Diana back in the day, and Denise Welch, one of the panelists on this show, Loose Women.
Now, today marks the 1-year anniversary since King Charles's coronation, and despite such a glorious start, it turned out to be rather a difficult year for the royals. On the 6th of May 2023, King Charles III was crowned alongside his wife Camilla. It was a day full of pomp and circumstances, but since then, it's safe to say the king hasn't had the easiest start to his reign, amid a deepening rift with his son Harry, and yet more legal troubles for his brother Andrew. In February, it was announced that the king was undergoing treatment for cancer, and just a month later, in March, his beloved daughter-in-law Kate revealed her own cancer diagnosis. Last week, the king returned to public duties on the advice of his doctors. But what does the next year hold for the king? Well, we're joined now by the King's former press secretary, Dicky Arbiter. Welcome to the show, Dicky. Thank you for joining us. I mean, we're all, so interested, obviously always have been, with the royals and what's going on. And I think this last year has been very hard for them. How has it been? How have you seen it?
Well, the first year was pretty good, but we have to wait and see. But it's no good speculating about it. It's no good speculating about the king's cancer. They've just got to get on with it. The fact that the king is back is good news. We want to see Kate back now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, so Harry is going to be flying over. Do you think there's any hope of him meeting up with the king and reconciling anything?
That's a very difficult one. I'm sure your audience here, many of them are parents. I'm a parent, and we would like to make up. But what is going on between our children and us is not being played out in the public arena. And with the king and the rest of the royal family, it is. Harry has been rubbishing the family since they walked out in 2020. We had in 21, we had Oprah. We had at the end of 22, 6 hours of Netflix. And then we had at the beginning of 23, 600 pages of
We did, Dicky, but if I may say as well, do you not think there is a reason why Harry did such a thing? You've got, in my opinion, and I know I don't know the royal family like you do, but, his dad married Diana when he was in love with Camilla. and so, you know, ruined a lot of Diana's life because of his affair with Camilla. So this young boy who then witnesses the death of his mother, who was forced to walk publicly in front of the world behind his dead mother's coffin and accept this woman that he doesn't like as his stepmother. Then he has a wife who is completely and continually trashed by the media, including your good self, if I may say, when in fact she was on a world stage doing a lot of good for a lot of people before she met this guy. And I am just sick to death of the bashing that this woman gets. Everybody's happy to say the bashing that the other royal family members get. Hardly any of you mention Andrew, and yet we continually, every day, berate this woman. And I think when her children grow up and see what she goes through, I think Harry had a bloody good reason to write that book, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you, because that's not what I'm here for. You have...
Well, it's you put your side and I put my side. That's how it goes.
You put your side, but if I may say, you have been reading too many tabloid stories.
No, I haven't actually, and don't disrespect me for saying that, because I have read a lot about Meghan before as well, and I think it's a disgrace the way she's treated.
Well, that is an opinion. It is also a disgrace in the way that they treated the rest of the royal family. There are people here...
They had no comeback. They had no other comeback. Well,
they did, actually. They didn't have to walk out. And they did walk out.
Why would they not walk out? Why would they want to spend their life in a country that hated them?
We don't want to come on here and have a debate, really. We want to know, how is Charles doing now? What is the future for Charles? Where is he moving on for? It's not a debate.
Don't have a guest on and say, I can say what I like, Colleen.
I'm not saying you can't.
That's fair enough.
Thank you, Dicky. Thank you.
You can. I would like to see a rapprochement between Harry and his dad. Unfortunately, whatever happens between Harry and his dad will be played out in the public arena. And it won't take long to get out there. There's no privacy. There's privacy between you and children, me and my daughter, and the audience and their children. But there isn't any privacy between Harry and his dad and William and what have you. And until such time there is privacy, until such time they can heal that rift without it getting out into newspapers or on television, it's going to continue as a rift. And quite frankly, there's been a lot of angst from the Sussexes towards the royal family. And I think there needs to be a bit of apology. Yes, you can rubbish your family up to a point, but it was relentless. And there needs to be an apology. They were public in their criticism of the family. They now need to be public in their apology to the family.
They're maybe not sorry.
Maybe they're not sorry. That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
I don't know.
Well,
and I wouldn't hazard an opinion either.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for asking me.
It was a great debate, actually, and I'm sure people will agree and disagree about the world's forevermore. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for asking.
Interestingly, Ofcom received over 100 complaints about Denise. What does that tell you? Also, interestingly, Arbiter was one of a panel of so-called royal experts. Just because you work for the royal family doesn't mean you're a royal expert. Who were paid to give their views about the Oprah interview back in March 2021, even though they hadn't actually watched the interview.
Would these paid commentators give a review of an interview they've not yet seen? To put this to the test, Archie and I set up a production company. Beneath the Fold Limited, we found some royal experts and used our very own royal expert to gauge their interest.
Together a special for a UK broadcaster to be broadcast immediately after the interview that Harry and Meghan have given to CBS with Oprah. And we're looking for guests to comment on the interview, basically. So it will be pre-recorded, so we're actually recording it tomorrow, and it's just to offer kind of an immediate reaction to the interview that will then go out after the interview, if that makes sense.
The experts were happy to act as if they'd already seen the interview. Their fees were negotiated and their contracts signed. This is what happened. So having seen the interview, what do you think it said about Meghan's relationship with the Queen?
I think what it said is Meghan's relationship with the royal household
was not very good.
Meghan spoke about her love of animals. Obviously, in the interview, Meghan talked about the Balham Donkey Sanctuary. What does that tell us about Meghan's character?
Meghan talked about her love of animals, love of dogs, love of the donkey sanctuary. She does have a love of animals, but that's only one side of her. That's a domestic side.
Yeah.
We've got to look at the broad picture, and the broad picture is not a very pretty one.
Meghan Markle saying she won't take the vaccine in the interview. What was your reaction to that?
I think it's very selfish. There are people who are anti-vax.
Brilliant.
I think that's everything, really.
So there you have it. 4 leading royal experts willingly commenting on something they know absolutely nothing about.
Arbiter also refers to the Sussexes as irrelevant. UrbanDictionary.com describes an irrelevant person as a person that is not important, not needed, someone that is useless. Wednesday, 8th of May. On this day, Harry was attending the Thanksgiving service at St Paul's Cathedral to celebrate 10 years of the Invictus Games. On this day, Charles and Camilla were hosting a garden party 2.7 miles away at Buckingham Palace. And on this day, William was handing out Empire medals at Windsor. On that day, the UK media were not focused on William. On that day, they were not focused on Charles and Camilla. On that day, all the attention was given to Harry. Here are my observations. I am very interested in the fact that he chose the venue where his parents got married back in 1981. Speaks volumes to me. Harry extending an invitation to his father to attend that service, but Charles being too busy, also speaks volumes. But the media described it as Harry being majorly snubbed. Now, Harry decided to let this be known that his father declined, saying he's got other priorities. And to me, this is Harry saying, look, I've tried at my end. I can't do any more. That's what that says to me. Now, the same media who are so happy saying, Harry got snubbed, is the same media who are ever so sad that there is currently no hint of a reconciliation. So really, why should Harry continue to flog a dead horse, in my opinion? Added to that, there are some reports that Charles apparently ordered all family members to attend his garden party, which, may I remind you, no one was interested in covering. So while Charles turned down the opportunity to see his darling boy, and in my mind, what type of mindset do you have to have as a father if you can do that while undergoing treatment for a serious medical condition? While he's done that, Harry's maternal family were there to support him. And even though this week Charles gave William one of Harry's former military titles, Harry was also surrounded by his Invictus family. On that same day, here is Harry looking oh so irrelevant when crowds of people turned up to see him.
You can say bye. We love you, Harry. We come from Barcelona. Love you, Harry.
Let me reiterate, no one was talking about the garden party up the road, and no one was talking about William handing out awards. Thursday, 9th of May. Harry spent some time with children at his charity, Scottys Little Soldiers, and these are children who have lost a parent in military service.
It's a side of Prince Harry we've not seen so much of lately. Fun, informal, engaging, as he mucked in for this very special children's party. Every child in this room has lost a parent who served in the military. The charity, Scottys Little Soldiers, supports them.
3, 2, 1.
Yesterday afternoon they had a party for the families in London with a surprise guest.
Prince Harry's come to play some games with you, is that okay?
It was a low-key arrival from Prince Harry, but that didn't last long.
Here we go.
We spent around an hour with Prince Harry yesterday afternoon. Since he left the UK for California, seeing him up close in this context has been rare.
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to have you back. How is it being here?
It's great. Just as the lights turned off. Perfect timing. It's great. It's amazing. What Scottys is doing with these kids is absolutely incredible and very needed as well. And the more opportunity we get to do these kind of events, the more that families and kids around and up and down the country actually know that Scottys exists, which is really the most important thing.
And nice to be back in the UK.
That's great.
Nice to see you.
These visits back to the UK are not straightforward for Prince Harry or the royal family. Relationships remain broken and there was no fix to be had this week. But for those in the room with Harry here, especially the children who, like him, had experienced the death of a parent, it was a reminder of what he brings to the party.
It's insane to think about. Like, you always see these people on TV. Like, saw Prince Harry's wedding, but it's like meeting them in real life is like a whole nother experience. And sitting down with him, he truly understood what we felt with the loss of his mum. Even if it's not through military connections, he understands that pain and he understands what we went through and are still going through.
You can pop the bootlace in your mouth.
Harry's competitive streak was on full show. This was the race to eat the strawberry laces the quickest. The prince found himself on the winning side.
Yeah, it's looking good.
And the roll the chocolate down the tape measure game was also a crowd pleaser, with not a bit of food going to waste.
How many Maltesers did you eat off the floor?
You guys probably know better than I do, but at least 3. I think by that point it started getting a little bit weird.
I could have never imagined I was rolling a Malteser down a tape measure with Prince Harry, but it was definitely lovely to see kind of those barriers being taken down with him and to see him as just him, because obviously you can see him on the screens and you can see the kind of face that he puts up to the public eye, but to see him kind of being himself around us was definitely a very heartwarming feeling.
In recent years, Harry's support for Scotty's little soldiers has largely been through letters and jokey video messages.
Merry Christmas. Did anyone actually do it?
The family fallout and the move to California has drastically reduced what he's been able to do for the organisations he supports in the UK. This party was the first event he'd been able to attend in person with the charity.
You forget that every single child in there has experienced the death of a parent who served for our country, and that I would imagine that Prince Harry got so much from that room and had so much fun and joy that I wouldn't mind betting that he's probably thinking about these children right now, because it does that to you. It really makes you think these children are incredible.
Like all good children's parties, there were some goodies to go home with.
Oh no, it's me. I thought you were joking.
Including a Lego figure of Prince Harry. All of this is now personal rather than royal duty. While family ties remain fractured, Prince Harry's charity work is an important link to the place that was once home. For CBS, I'm Daniela Ralph in London.
Friday, 10th of May. This is how ITV News reported Harry and Meghan's arrival in Nigeria, the first day of a 3-day visit to the country.
Prince of Wales has given a positive update about his wife's cancer treatment.
May I ask how Princess Kate is doing?
Prince William confirmed Kate is doing well as he toured the only hospital on the Isles of Scilly to learn about a major building project to improve facilities on land owned by his Duchy of Cornwall. He was also given a card for his father, the King, who's been diagnosed with cancer. Well, his brother Harry also enjoyed a warm welcome when he and Meghan visited Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are on a tour championing mental health for young people affected by conflict and also Harry's Invictus Games.
It was hard not to think you were watching an official royal tour as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were welcomed to the Nigerian capital today. Of course, their current status means that is not the case, but the reception appeared to be very similar. Harry and Meghan are on a 3-day visit to the country.
This may not have been an official royal visit, but for students at this Abuja school, it certainly was special.
I was freaking out internally, but I mean, I'm representing my school, so I can't be nervous and everything, so I pushed that under the carpet, and I was like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived in Nigeria this morning. Their foundation supports this school, and they came to talk about mental health.
Mental health affects every single person in the entire world. And the more you talk about it, the more you can kick stigma away, far, far away, into the long grass.
Harry and Meghan may no longer be working royals, but this was reminiscent of past trips, complete with the Prince inspecting the troops. Harry is promoting the Invictus Games while he's there, the event he started for injured veterans, now celebrating its 10th year. The Duke did have time to sign copies of his book.
He wrote, "Keep inspiring others, smashing stigma and making a difference."
So I'm very happy he signed the book. He said, believe in making the change. And I feel that's something I'm going to hold close to me till the end of time.
The Duke and Duchess thanked their hosts for the warmest of welcomes and headed off on the next leg of their trip, which is due to last 3 days. Neil Connery, News at 10.
So you can see this is the prince and his mother, Princess Diana. Yeah. Yes, another one. Waiting here of the prince and the princess. not finished. Moving on. This is a symbol of our culture, reflecting our diversity. At this point, the governor will compare you with this rest. If you can, the governor should carry So I will invite General AVM Markle to come forward to assist the governor in wearing this on the rings. Yes, you can help. But the prince is incomplete. It will be complete with this.
Now, if we just go back to Wednesday, members of the media described Harry as a lonely figure as he climbed the steps of St. Paul's. As far as I'm concerned, Harry knows which side his bread is buttered, okay? There was a reporter that shouted. He laughed because he knows what he's going back home to. This is not his home. Meghan and his kids are not here. His home is where they are. But people just do not want to accept it. The man formalised his country of residence last month with the Companies House filing. People here are not happy. The media's not happy about it. So in my head, every time Harry has to come to the UK, he and Meghan are going to have discussions about it. But do you not think that her being away from him strengthens their relationship even more because they can't wait to see each other again? And when the media kept wondering why Meghan didn't come with him to the UK but is with him in Nigeria, I don't understand why they're wondering. Apart from her not being liked by the majority of people in this country, the focus would have shifted away from the Invictus Thanksgiving service, and she knows that. She's not going to overshadow what her husband is doing. She knows that if she were here, the media would have attacked her and said she only came because she wanted to be the centre of attention. So stupid. And she's not safe here. She knows that. She's not safe in the UK. And for all of those who are shouting and saying she's not safe in Nigeria, they're not going to be safe in Nigeria, they're having military protection. But since you want to go down that road, say the same to the parents of 14-year-old Daniel Anjorin, who, while he was making his way to school, was fatally attacked by a sword-wielding man on the streets of Hainault in Essex a few weeks ago. Please say the same to members of the public who had to run for cover in Tottenham, North London, when some man just indiscriminately fired his gun. So as long as the UK government, with the endorsement of the firm, refuse to provide security for the Sussexes, Meghan does not need to come here. Meghan does not need to come here.
You shine bright, or you're just really talented at what you do, people will try to dim your light regardless of how humble you are. There's a word for this. It's called tall poppy syndrome. In a nutshell, what this means is when you stand out taller than the rest, there are people that will try to cut you down to size. And there's a lot of reasons why this can happen. Some people are insecure, some people are envious, or you might just be standing out in an environment where they expect everyone to be the same. And this makes sense when you think about the concept of people trying to humble you. Because what are they doing? Trying to bring you down to where they think you should be. You are the tall poppy. This is why really successful people get criticized a lot. They'll try to make you feel bad for doing good. You'll be the focus of a lot of shady behavior. You'll be ostracized, you'll be talked about. People might even try to screw you over on purpose. And I feel like the solution to this is to really know yourself so that you can truly believe in yourself.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say a few things before I go. I just need to kind of get it off my chest. And firstly, let's go back to the very beginning and this Dicky Arbiter character. Dicky Arbiter is someone I've been aware of for decades, but his voice wasn't as prominent until Meghan came on the scene. And you know why this guy interests me? Because his daughter was one of the other so-called royal experts on that prank that these two young guys did. So Victoria Arbiter, Dicky Arbiter's daughter, she worked for CNN and some other companies. When she gave her views, I mean, it's not funny, it's horrible, okay? It's not a laughing matter. But when she gave her views on Meghan, she got slaughtered, she got slated, she got ripped to shreds. Ripped to shreds. Consequently, CNN couldn't take the heat. They got rid of her. They sacked her. They fired her. And she was talking about how it impacted her negatively, financially, because she's a single mother, etc. I mean, that's only a taste of what Meghan... I'm not going to say Meghan goes through, because she doesn't see comments about herself. She ignores them. And mentally, that's the best course of action. Victoria Arbiter, what she claims to have been subjected to is only a tiny percentage of what I see online with regard to Meghan. And with regard to her father, I would have expected him to have some semblance of not empathy with Meghan, but kind of understanding. Seeing how his daughter was treated online would have given him an insight into how Meghan is trolled 24/7. But this seems to have made him indifferent even worse. What you saw on that Loose Women interview was mild compared to how I've seen him speak before about Meghan. He was very restrained. I would have imagined that, as I said, he would have had some kind of understanding for what Meghan goes through. But the reason why he doesn't, and he seems to have got worse, is because, as I will continue to say on these videos, Meghan is at the top of the social pyramid where these guys wish they could be. He's worked for the royal family for years and years. Do you think that they don't have some level of expectation to be higher up that pyramid because they're supposed to be working in a rarefied atmosphere? Who's this little mixed race woman that just came and went to the top? That's what they want to know. How did that happen? How did that happen, please? Oh dear. I don't know. These are the things that go on in my mind, okay? My friends know that I don't think... My mind goes to places, okay? So that was with regard to Dicky Arbiter and Victoria Arbiter, royal experts. I wanted to talk about English as a foreign language. I feel sorry for people who are in that position where English is not your first language and you're studying English. And to be fair, A lot of English people do not know how to speak English, okay? So don't feel too bad. Why do I bring this up? Let's look at the term working royals. You don't need a dictionary to know what that means. Working, industrious, productive, yielding results, making a difference, not being idle. Royals, royalty. Royalty doesn't just exist in Great Britain. Royalty is all over the place. You got it in the Middle East, Africa, other parts of Europe, Far East. Royalty. Harry and Meghan are royalty. Don't care what you say, you know, you want to say Meghan's not royalty. If Meghan is not royalty, Katie's not royalty. It's as simple as that. You can't have it both ways. If Meghan is not royalty, Katie's not royalty. Okay. Working royals. In this video alone, I've shown you who are the working royals. This is just this week, okay, of what's happened. So what I've realised is that the actual definition of working royals, the establishment and the firm and the institution, they have their own definition. Their definition of working royals means they are in the palace, in their various palaces in Britain. They are told what to do. Their diaries are planned months in advance. They don't think outside of the box. They don't use their own initiative. And on top of that, their remuneration is from us. Money's got to come from somewhere, and it comes from us. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not a royal expert. I never claimed to be a royal expert. I'm not. But I'm trying to work out where this money comes from if it doesn't come from us. One thing I do know, we don't fund Harry and Meghan. They're working royals. We don't fund them. You know, this reminds me of the big P in 2021 when they changed definitions of things. And they said they brainwashed us by repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again until certain sectors of society were so dumbed down that they believed everything they were told. And this is the trick that they use. They can tell you these guys are working royals. They're working part-time right now, and I'm not even talking about the ones that are incapacitated through illness. I'm talking about certain ones, namely the Prince of Wales. Let's be real. Okay, I read a report, or I heard about a report that he said he wants to, when he becomes king, he wants to work from home. How's that going to work, sir? How are you going to cut ribbons from your front room or open buildings without being there? Unless there's something you're not telling us. Kate has people to look after her, doesn't she? Does she not have private doctors and nurses, people to cater to her? The children are not toddlers anymore. And the reason I say that is because when it was Charlotte's birthday, you were out at a football match, and apparently you went out drinking afterwards, no doubt using our money. So what's this part-time business? What's this working from home business? You got time to go to a football match, but you haven't got time to work on your homelessness project, but you're working royal. Okay. I don't understand. And the other word that I wanted to talk about was the premise of this video. Apparently, Harry and Meghan are irrelevant. I gave you the definition of that. One definition. A person who is not important, a person who is not needed, a person who is useless. How can someone who's not important, not needed, and useless, how can they make such a difference in people's lives across the world? Whether it's through Invictus, whether it's using their foundation to fund a school in Nigeria. These are just two examples, okay? If that's irrelevant, please tell me what the rest of the royal family is then. Please tell me that. Can someone explain that to me? Because I'm struggling right now. But according to people like Dicky Arbiter, the Sussexes are irrelevant. This is the English, people that are studying English, irrelevant is irrelevant. If you're going to apply it to anyone, don't apply it to Harry and Meghan. You don't even need me to tell you this. You can see with your own eyes. I've shown you stuff in this video. I don't know, guys. It baffles me. Week after week, this stuff baffles me. But my conclusion is that if you are told often enough, the royal family, 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 the royal family. That was credible when Queen Elizabeth was alive. And I've said it before. You guys who've been with me for long enough, you've heard me say when the Queen passed, everything was going to change. That I said that before she even passed. I said that. They're not taking it seriously. And this is the thing. And I'm going to say it in this video. I was scared to say it last year, because I had this thought in my head for a long time. Harry would make a better king than William. Ha! There, I've said it. I've said it. Doesn't matter if you got your bits and pieces to say. I've said it, and people know that. Harry knows how to interact with people. There's no awkwardness there. You saw it with your eyes in this video. William does not have that gift. Sorry, but he doesn't. He's very aloof. Like his father, he's very distant. And those of you who were around during Diana's lifetime, we knew how she was. Harry is just like his mum. Harry is like his mum. You know, and so many things I could take away from the activities, the events that happened this week. But I loved when they were in Nigeria and he was given the painting, the framed portrait of him and his mum and Harry and Meghan on their wedding day. Lovely. So thoughtful. Let me tell you who's never going to get anything like that. Other members of the royal family. And this is the thing that I've observed in my 53, nearly 54 years. Some of you I know are older than me, but I've been on this planet long enough. I've been through too much to not learn lessons. One of the lessons I've learned is when you chase things, you will never get them. When you chase stuff, it will always elude you. It will always be out of your grasp. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's money, riches, fame, popularity. If your intentions are pure, if your intentions are altruistic, these things will come to you anyway. You don't have to force it. What is yours will be yours. And you see that with Harry and Meghan. When you operate from a place of manipulation, control, deceit, we've seen all of that this year with these guys up at the palace. They're not getting what they want because their motivation, what's in here, is not pure. They can put on the smile and say the right things, but in here, the intention is not pure, and that's why they will never get what they want. And that's why they will always see Harry and Meghan as a threat. They don't want reconciliation, because if they have reconciliation with Harry and Meghan, and Harry visits here more often, Meghan, she doesn't need to come here until they change what they're doing. If Harry makes himself more visible, they're not going to be able to handle it because the focus will always be on Harry. You saw that in this video. You've seen that this week. They don't want a reconciliation. So for all of the people say, oh, it's so sad that Harry needs to apologize. What does Harry need to apologize for, please? Why wasn't the same energy given to Charles when he authorized the book? He trashed his parents. he said negative stuff about his parents, and they were really upset, but no one talks about that. And if you want to know the book I'm talking about, it's by Ingrid Seward, who's the editor, I believe, of Majesty magazine. And she wrote a book called My Mother and I think that's the title, correct me if I'm wrong. But he was trashing his parents in there. No one says anything about that. Sophie Wessex, Duchess of Edinburgh, she trashed the Queen. Fergie trashed the royal family. She did all kinds of shenanigans, you know, taking thousands of pounds to have access to Andrew. Diana trashed the royal family. She said Charles wouldn't make a great king. Why do people forget this stuff? Why are they always focused on Harry and Meghan? Why? Because they said what they said. If it wasn't true, do you think they would risk the hate that they get? Just like Denise Welch said in that interview in Loose Women. Guys, I think that's all. But if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.